Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome back to Steelers Almighty, man. Appreciate everybody getting up with this morning. Got a lot to talk about. Got a good show for you guys today, man. First things first, Broderick Jones looking good, taking things seriously, man. He's taking things seriously. We'll get into it as far as him moving to left tackle and what I mean about him taking it seriously. It's a good sign, Steeler fans, really good sign. Two, the Steelers feel like home for Deshaun Elliott. He's come out and said that it feels like home. Is there an extension coming? We'll discuss that in the breakdown of Deshaun Elliott. And then, are OTAs actually important? Like, there's so many people out there. Hey, Aaron Rodgers is supposed to be here, but he isn't here. DK Metcalf hasn't shown up. You know, we know TJ Watt's not here, but we know why. But are they important? We're going to break down whether we think OTAs and stuff are important. So I appreciate everybody being here this morning. Again, as always, as you guys start to trickle in, I'm starting to see the members. Zay Curry in here. What's going on? Appreciate you. My man Vaughn works in weird hours sometimes, can't always come in, but man, I'm glad you're here, Vaughn. We missed you. We've missed you the last couple of days, man. We appreciate you. Some more members in here. My man Luke Cage, he's in here. How's it going, Mr. Luke Cage? Wild Bill, what's going on, man? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So we appreciate everybody in here. And like one of the things, again, if you want to become a member, you know how to do that. There'll be a link in the chat. And there's also one at the front of the page. You can join 5 separate levels as far as memberships. Memberships are going to change, people, just so we're on the same page. We're going to change some things about them. It'll be to your benefit. But if you want to sign up, please go ahead and click on you see the link there in the chat. Click on it. Sign up to become a member. We appreciate you. The changes, by the way, will be to your benefit, man. You're really going to like what we do when we make those changes. But if not, another way to help support the channel, obviously, super chats are wide open, people. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for showing up and showing out like you always do. Let's get into this. So, Broderick Jones, looking good, people. He's looking good. Now, again, they're in shorts, no shoulder pad, not even in shells, just shorts, T-shirts, helmet. But Broderick Jones, ladies and gentlemen, has lost 20 pounds. He's lost 20 pounds. So for me, what that tells me is, look, Broderick has said, I wasn't good last year. I've got to do something different to get back to what I was, to get to being a good NFL player. Because I would say, as a rookie, Broderick was fine. If we would have got the same Broderick last year that we got as a rookie, I would have been disappointed because he didn't take the next step. But we would have had a better football team because he played better as a rookie than what he did as a second-year guy. And there's no disputing that. So if Broderick has said, you know what, I didn't play good, here's something that I can change to try to ensure that I have a better season. And to me, that's great. Hey, Felicia, what's going on? Thank you for showing up. We appreciate you. For me, it just shows his professionalism, number one, because I look at what my season was. It wasn't very good. I've got to make a change, something on my own that I have to change. He changed his body. Good sign. But he also left the door open. Hey, I'm going to lose these 20 pounds, but I can always put these 20 pounds on if I need to. But what does it look like? And he's thinking, hey, we're an outside zone scheme. I need to be better at running outside zone stuff. I need to get leaner. Maybe I can cut off the backside 3 technique where I couldn't do that last year. Maybe I can reach the 5 technique. And even if the tight end's there to help, you know what? I don't need all this help. Go to the next level, tight end. I got this 5 all by myself. Stuff like that. It's important. And for him to take it on upon himself, and maybe the coaches told him, whatever the case may be. But how many times have we seen players where a coach tells you to do something and they just don't do it? Hey, man, you need to lose 20 pounds in the offseason. We need a leaner Broderick. And maybe he lost 7. Not taking it seriously. This time he is. Mr. Kenneth McNair has joined the chat. Thank you. We appreciate you. Now, he's talking about Broderick. He said he's not making excuses for him, but I think the injury had a big impact on him earlier in the season. He also developed some bad habits, maybe because of it. He looked better the only thing that I would disagree with you, Mr. McNair, I don't think Broderick looked better as the season went on. Like that last game, now granted, nobody really looked good the last game, but Broderick didn't. He just had spurts of being okay. That's all. Just spurts. He was bad last year, man. And whether the injury had anything to do with it, his injury didn't have anything to do with his effort or his footwork. Now, you could say, well, his hand placement, because he couldn't extend, he couldn't punch. Okay, I'll grant you all of that. But your effort, it doesn't matter if you're hurt. You have to give effort. Broderick didn't do that. There were times he looked lackadaisical. There were times that he didn't look like he was even interested in being out there. And that to me was the bigger problem. To me, that was the bigger problem. But again, last year was last year. Let's move past that. This year, I like what I see. Now, again, it's T-shirts and shorts. Fine. But at least he changed something that lets us fans know that he cares. Because that was my biggest problem last year, and I just said it. It looked like he wasn't even interested in being out there. He didn't even look like he wanted to play football with the kind of effort that he was given. Well, at a guy his size, at his age, to lose 20 pounds, that takes some effort, people. With the way that his metabolism works, and as much as he's eating, he could have just sat around all offseason, and he could have put on 20 pounds probably in a week if he wanted to. So that's all I'm saying, is that the man took it upon himself to do something to try to ensure that he has a better year. So number one, it shows that he cares. That's my thing. I'm encouraged by that. I'm really encouraged by that. Now, we could get out there and we start getting into pads and training camp, and he could get out there and he could just be terrible. Again, his hand placement's horrific. His footwork is bad again. So, as my man Kenneth McNair said, that he developed bad habits, and maybe, he continues with them. But as of now, we can only base things on what we see. And what we see, it makes sense to me. So it makes sense to me. So I like Broderick. I like him out there. Now, the one thing that we talk about, I say this all the time about Mason McCormick, is that nasty, mean streak. I don't know if any of you all notice, but my man Broderick, when Broderick gets into it, Broderick's as mean as they come. Broderick is a mean, nasty guy. So I like this Broderick. I like this guy. He is a mean football player, ladies and gentlemen. So maybe he gets into he's in a little bit better shape. Maybe he's doing things a little bit better, building on some of those habits. I also know that Broderick is a pretty smart guy. He knows that this is a make or break year for him. And the label of bust is sitting right there on his shoulder. Now he can either own that and put it on his back, or he can just brush that thing off his shoulder and say, no, I'm different. I like this. And again, we some of this, like I said, is coaching. And I know we're not high. I'm not high on Pat Meyer, but some of this is him. And the effort is that was him. You can't blame a coach when a guy's given lack of effort. You could say, well, you got to motivate him. Hey, man, all the motivation in the world, if the guy isn't going to go play hard, what are you supposed to do? Well, you could bench him. Well, the Steelers couldn't bench him. And I think Broderick knew that. And part of his problem last year, he was mad about Dan Moore Jr. Can't play right tackle, forced him to have to play right tackle, and he didn't handle it right. But the bottom line is he didn't play well. And there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. He did not play good football. But the only thing that I can see is just looking for him. I mean, it looks better. He looks better. So that's the only thing we can talk about as of right now. Hey, what did Broderick do in the offseason? Well, he lost 20 pounds. That's a start, ladies and gentlemen. That's a start. I'm not saying when we get the pads on and everything that, oh, okay, because we don't know that yet. Only thing that we can judge it by is last year he was bad. This year, oh, okay, he's taking some steps here. He's lost 20 pounds. He looks good. Great. Now, can you get the effort level up? Can you get the footwork right? Can you get the hand placement right? Those are all things and again, it's coaching, but also it's him. It's him doing it. So I'm encouraged. Kevin Whitlock, he says, Big B, if you say you like Broderick, that's a hell of an endorsement. Nobody was harder on him than you. Exactly. I don't know if there was any podcaster that covers the Pittsburgh Steelers last year that was harder on Broderick Jones than me. We do an all 22, breaking down the offensive line after every single game. And I lit into Broderick. And the reason why is because when you saw him do it right, he was so good. And I've said this repeatedly, and I'll keep saying it until I see otherwise. He's the Steelers' most talented offensive lineman. When it's just talent for talent, he is the most talented offensive lineman we had. Doesn't mean that he played that way because he damn sure didn't. But I like him, man. I like him. Big G in the chat says, get them damn Jordinary cleats off. But I'm down with Jones. I believe he's turned the corner. Big G, you got to let the Jordan cleats go, bro. You got to let that go. You got to let that go. I'm with you, but you got to let that go, man. All I'm saying is he looks good. He looks good. I'm excited about it. We can bash him and talk about how bad he was last year and all that stuff. And I don't know that I need to do that because I did it all last year. But at some point, we have to turn the page and just say, okay, let's talk about what we can do this year. And a lot of people out there, well, I don't trust this offensive line. And you have every reason not to trust it. You have every reason not to trust it because it wasn't good. But he's on now the thing about it is, and like I mentioned before, Broderick's not a dumb guy. He's a smart guy. He understands there's literally no more excuses because the excuses that people gave him last year was, well, he was hurt. Well, he's playing on a side that's not his natural position. No more excuses. No more excuses. Here you are. Why the Steelers didn't do this earlier, I don't know. Why they were beholden to Dan Moore Jr., I don't know. But it is what it is. That happened. And if we're being honest, you think about it, Dan Moore couldn't play right tackle. If you put Broderick at left tackle, who the hell was going to play right tackle for the Steelers last year? It had to be him. It had to be him. So it shows his versatility, but it's still not his best side. But I like it. So I like it. He looks okay. The thing about it is, obviously, this is his more natural side. Troy Fautanu, who played left tackle in college, said he's more comfortable playing the right side. Well, let's go, people. Let's go. Now, again, we don't have the excuses. We don't have the excuses. So I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged. So, yeah, Jason, I don't know why. Well, here's the thing. Jason Winningham is saying, I never understood why Dan Moore could not play right tackle. It's totally different. All your steps are different, so it's different. So I'm not going to sit here and just say that it's something easy to do. My problem is that the Steelers never made Dan Moore do it. Like, they never said, hey, this is our right tackle or this is our left tackle. And if you want to play, which we want you to play, Dan, but if you're going to play, you have to learn how to play right tackle because you're going to be the swing tackle. Period. End of story. And the Steelers never pressed him to do that. You saw it a couple of snaps here or there. You saw a little bit, but that's what should have happened. The Steelers should have just said to him, if this is the left tackle and it's not you, and if you want to play, you got to go battle for a right tackle job because we have our left tackle. And the Steelers never did that. So I don't know why they didn't do it. Big Pun is right. Said Dan Moore should have been shipped out with Kendrick Green. Shame on Tomlin. It's not just Tomlin's fault. You got to stop that. So, but the Steelers organization is at fault. At fault, you know. And the thing about Dan Moore, here's the thing. Early in the season, Dan Moore looked pretty good. He looked good. And I said, oh, man, this guy, he's trying to get himself a contract. The last 9 games of the year may have been Dan Moore Jr.'s worst 9-game stretch of football in his entire career. Literally in his entire career. It was awful. Absolutely awful. But as bad as Dan Moore Jr. played last year, the last 9 games, that was still better than what Broderick gave us, which is scary. Scary to think about it. Because Dan Moore gave up 10 sacks in the last 9 games. Whew. I mean, was he even out there blocking? So, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Like I said, that's last year. Let's not beat a dead horse. We're on to this year, and our man Broderick looks good. Now he's got to play good. He's got to show us. He looks the part. He looks the part. You know, we've seen a lot of guys that look good coming off the bus, but once you got them into pads, they were soft as cotton. And I'm not saying Broderick is soft as cotton. I'm just using that analogy, is that we've seen plenty of guys that look good, but when it comes to actually playing football, yeah, you can look good all you want, but it's kind of like the story, and I love this story. We went on vacation, me and a couple friends, our families, we went on vacation a couple years ago, and we played water volleyball. Now, you look at me, and I was 100 pounds heavier when we went. And I'm out there playing volleyball, but I move around. I mean, I was a former offensive lineman. I can still have a little bit of hand-eye coordination. And this dude comes into the pool. He's probably a year or two younger than us. And his thing is, he comes in, he's ripped, he's shredded, comes in with a toothpick, kind of walks in the pool. What's up, fellas? Don't worry about it. I got this. That's what he said to us. And I'm thinking, I said to my boy Chris, I said, I bet you this dude can't play a lick of volleyball. I go, I bet you this dude's hand-eye coordination ain't about shit. And lo and behold, the first time somebody hit the ball to him, he looked like that he hit the ball. If you're trying to hit it straight, it was a 90-degree angle this way. I'm like, I just looked and I laughed. I said, this guy, I go, this is unbelievable. You know, walking around, no shirt on. And he don't know me. I'll walk around with no shirt anyway, you know, and I'm flabby. And again, I was 100 pounds heavier at the time. And I'll walk around with no shirt on because I don't care. I've been married 22 years. My wife loves me, or at least she says she loves me, you know. And my friends, either you like me or you don't. You met me when I was fat. I'm still fat. Whatever. My belly's going to be out. But this guy was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So I love it. I love it, man. But I like what Dan Moore Jr. looks like. Or not, excuse me, not Dan Moore Jr. I like what Broderick Jones looks like. I was reading a comment here. Dan Moore got all that money. Good for him. Good for him. Yeah, because you'll never hear me begrudge anybody getting money. I'll never do that. Hey, good for him, man. Good for him. So that's, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Oh, Nick does the news. Finally made it. Penn Hill's in the building. What's going on, my man? Nick does the news. We appreciate you showing up. So, yeah, man, 22 years, me and the wife, it'll be 22 years in July. So, like I said, I don't have nobody to impress. If she don't love me, she sticks around, so she acts like it. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, Ooh, Torsia, good comment. Hey, you'll never know how good your QB really is until he has a shitty left tackle. Yeah. So you're exactly right. You'll never know. You'll never know. That's why I give so much credit and why I know Patrick Mahomes is really good. I mean, look, we don't have to pay attention to the Chiefs. You just watch the Chiefs play. Hell, you watched it this year against us. How much help and everything they have to give to their left tackle the last 2 years. Whew, atrocious. So, but it is what it is. Let's move on, people. Deshaun Elliott. Deshaun Elliott wants Pittsburgh to be a home. Deshaun Elliott is talking about he's been a lot of places, and he thanks Mike Tomlin for making this place a home. That's a guy that sounds like he's on the verge of signing an extension, doesn't it? Saying that, hey, I've been to a lot of different places. This is the first place that's actually felt like home to me. Somebody's saying that either he wants an extension or they're working on getting an extension done. And that's one of the low key, topics that not a lot of people are talking about. Deshaun Elliott, he's got to be somebody the Steelers re-sign. They've got to extend Deshaun Elliott. Now, we're not going to give him, Minka Fitzpatrick extension numbers. We're not going to do that. But Deshaun Elliott deserves an extension. He's got 1 year left on his deal. We got to he's only 28. We need to extend Deshaun Elliott. We need to extend him, and keep him around. He had a good year. He had 109 tackles. He was second on the team. 73 of those were solo. He had a pick, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries. And he made plays all over the place. Was decent in coverage. Yeah, we've got to get him signed. I think that'll be one of the, how the Steelers kind of do it. Summertime extensions, right before training camp, maybe right at the start of training camp. But I think that's one the Steelers got to get done. Again, everybody's talking about TJ Watt and his extension. Deshaun Elliott, I'm not saying it's just as important, but it is important. It is important. So, Torsia, would you pay $7 to $8 million a year? Yeah, I would. But they're not going to restructure Minka. They could. I don't know why you couldn't. But I would give $7 or $8 million for a 3-year deal to Deshaun Elliott. You would make the 3rd year an avoidable year. Yeah, it sounds about right. And Deshaun Elliott will take it. Maybe 2 years, $17 million. Something like that. Absolutely. It's a good deal for Deshaun Elliott. It's a good deal for him. Doesn't have to take, $10, $12 million to get that done. And for being honest, look, we love you, Deshaun Elliott, but $10 million a year is not something we're going to give you. But 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that range? Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, look, I understand that we're not spending because I was a big proponent. Hey, why aren't we spending any damn money on offense? But if you really just take a look at it, like, where are you going to spend it? I mean, there's nowhere to spend the money right now. Not right now. Now, there was earlier, when free agency started. But as of right now, I mean, where are you going to spend it? So it is what it is. And we can't talk about things that didn't happen, because I'm sorry. I wanted them to happen, but they didn't. So you deal with reality. There's really, you got all those offensive linemen that are young or on rookie deals. The wide receiver room is what it is. I still think there's room for a wide receiver too. That's not really what I want to get into today, but there's still room for that. But I think Deshaun Elliott, a new deal coming in. I think something like that. Walter says 4-year, $30 million with what? 18 guaranteed, 17 million guaranteed, maybe even 14 to 15 guaranteed. Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, Wild Bill, Keenan Allen is definitely a chain mover. But I think we got to extend Deshaun Elliott. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about that. Felicia says Tomlin will keep the defense and the special team solid. Offense has been the side-eye position. It has been. And there's no, tomorrow we're going to get into it a little bit as far as why on tomorrow's podcast. So make sure you guys show up tomorrow for the podcast, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. And we're going to talk a little bit about who's really to blame for the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation. I'll just call it a situation. We'll get into that tomorrow. But yeah, I think Deshaun Elliott is a keeper. And again, anybody that's talking like, hey, I've been to several different places, and this is the first place that I've actually felt like home. And he's only been here 1 year. It's not like Deshaun Elliott's been here 2 or 3 years. He was here 1 season, and he's talking about how this place feels like home. That's a guy that wants to stay, And you could even say, well, he's just saying these things, just because, he wants an extension. Well, isn't that what you're supposed to say if you want an extension? Because he could easily just have another good year and he could walk out the door and go somewhere else. But it sounds like the guy wants to be here. And sometimes maybe they're playing you. Okay. And he wants his money. For sure he wants his money. But he's also deserving of it. If Deshaun Elliott came in and had an average season, you'd be like, yeah, we're not extending this guy. We don't need to. We can draft the guy. We can pick another guy up off the street to do what he did. Well, that's not the case. He had a good year. So, yeah, he had a good year. So I like Elliott. Elliott does a lot. Again, he just turned 28 at the end of April. So it's not like he's 33, 34 years old. He's not. I like him. I like what he brings to the table. He brings a little bit of a personality to the secondary, which I think we need. And I like that. So Big Pun said we got to spend money on offense to get better players, and it will get better. It takes more than one wide receiver. You can say that again, brother. Say it again, But George Pickens just wasn't the guy. The Steelers are done with, I think that the locker room wouldn't allow for him to be there anymore. And look, I was just as frustrated. I wanted to see DK and George in the locker room too, or on the field, not in the locker room. I wanted to see them too. But if the locker room is telling you we can't play with this guy, we can't use this guy, then sometimes you just got to listen to them. You have to listen to them. Does it make the Steelers worse by trading them? Yeah, it does. But maybe it's addition by subtraction, man. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, you got to have more than one receiver. One receiver. And we got a lot of hopes on Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin. A lot of hopes on those guys, but we'll see what happens. We got to spend that money. But I like Deshaun Elliott. Deshaun Elliott sounds like he wants to stay. So we'll get into that. We'll get into it. So lastly today, people, and again, I may cut this one short. I've got the dreaded summertime sore throat. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, I'm sure, have all had it. That summertime sore throat? Yep, I've developed it, and it stinks. But I'm battling through it. But are OTAs important? Are OTAs important? There's been a lot of talk back and forth in the chat on this channel, other places. Are they important? So, first off, with all the Rodgers talk, Rodgers isn't here. There's people that are back and forth. Is that, well, he's a veteran. He doesn't need this practice time, And I always push back on that and say, then why are the other veterans there? You mean, why are the other veterans there? And I could see if Rodgers has, all of this experience with playing with these players and the Steelers organization and in this offense, if he has all of that, okay, but he doesn't, and just for simple, so your teammates get to know you. So nobody's saying it's mandatory or he has to do this or anything like that, but I think it's important. And I'm not going to come off that hill. That's the hill I'll choose to die on, and that's fine. I think it's important. So he needed to be here. Now, DK Metcalf is not here, and people were making excuses about how him moving. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know about moving. Um, what's going on, Mr. Alonzo Dunn? We appreciate you, man. We know you're working. We got you, brother. We're here. We're here for you. Um, but yeah, he needed to be here too. He needed to be here too. Just for the simple fact of what I just said. Get to know some people. Get to know some people. And I know he's been to all the other stuff, to all the off-season stuff, but get to know some people. So I can't that's my only thing. But if 36-year-old Cam Hayward can be here, 34-year-old Darius Slay can be here, they don't have to be at offseason. I mean, Darius Slay came out and said it. Hey, man, I need to get in. I want to learn the guys. I want to learn the defense. I want to get up to speed as soon as possible, just for the simple fact of when mini camp starts, when training camp starts, I'm not in learning mode first. I'm in reacting mode first. For a defensive player, it's like, look, I want to know what I'm supposed to do. And there's times for me to learn that, because during training camp, it can't just be, well, I'm trying to figure this out. In training camp, it's no, I need to be firing. I need to be going and making a play and getting ready for the season. That's why OTAs are important. I get it. I get that it's not mandatory. I get that Rodgers has worlds of experience. So that's all. It's not mandatory, and it's not mandatory for everybody. Don't get me, it isn't. But there's something to be said when the leaders of the football team are there. You should probably be there too. And again, veteran leaders, first team all-pro guys, and that's what Cam Hayward was last year. If he can show up at 36, everybody can show up. And again, they are helpful. They are important. Just learning, just for the simple fact you haven't done anything football related in a while with your team, just to get out there and run around a little bit, knock the cobwebs off. All the lifting and the plyometric stuff that you've done in the offseason, maybe to break up some of that scar tissue, just to do that, if nothing else. When you're out there lifting weights and doing the things to get your body ready, let's just say you're in tip-top shape. A lot of the stuff that you're doing, you don't have the range of motion, all the flexibility stuff. Just getting out there and doing football makes it better. So I like it. I like that fact that guys take it seriously. I'm not saying if you don't show up, you're not taking football seriously. I don't want to label anybody like that. I just think OTAs are important, people. That's all. I think they are. And when you got a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, where we're trying to figure out how to be a good football team, I think the more people that you have bought in to doing everything, the better. The better. My man CID, he said, give Karen Rodgers some Thunderbird and make him push the sled. I think we're past that point, man. We're past that. My man Wild Bill, if he ain't in by the 10th, is it Mason or is it Cousins? I don't think the Steelers are going to get Cousins. I don't think the Steelers are going to do that. I don't think they're going to do that. So $37 million over the next 2 years. Obviously, they wouldn't have to pay all of that. They wouldn't even have to pay a majority of that. But I don't think they're going to trade. What are you going to give up for Cousins? Atlanta seems to want to keep him. I would say Atlanta said, look, if you want Cousins, you got to give us a 4th-round pick. There ain't no damn way I'm giving a 4th-round pick for Kirk Cousins. There ain't no way. The only way I would do that is if Will Howard and Mason Rudolph have season-ending injuries. Okay, we got to somehow be competitive. We'll do that. But other than that, I ain't giving no 4th-round pick for Cousins. Forget it. Forget it. So, forget it. I'm out. Yeah, Kenneth, it's too much money for Cousins. Like I said, $37 million, which again, we wouldn't have to take on all of that. So, but it is what it is. Awareness, how you doing, man? What's going on? Big B says, or Awareness says, Big B, drink some E&J will clear that throat up, man. Not this early in the morning. I'm not trying to go to the hospital. I am not trying to go to the hospital. No, 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 no. Not doing it. Not doing it. So, and y'all are out on Cousins talking about 5 million is too much for Cousins. So, when Torsia said we got Cousins right now, Mason Rudolph. Cousins is better than Mason Rudolph, but how much better? You know, how much better? Is he $30 million better? No. No. So, no. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I like that a lot of the guys are at OTAs, people. I like it. So what do you guys want to talk about? We'll talk about anything right now, man. Like I said, my my throat is hurting me a little bit. I never drink coffee while I'm in here. I drink 1 cup of coffee every single day. I usually down that before I come up here and talk. I'm like, man, I need something to try to soothe this throat. So I got my coffee up here today that I never drink. Oh, we'll see. We never gave. Who was that? Chris Oladukin a look, says Big Pun. You know, sometimes guys don't get a look. That's the thing about it. Because you're right. It's like sometimes people don't give, like organizations don't give guys a real look. So, Awareness says, hold on. My daughter just got out of the ICU. That's why I haven't been in the chat, but she's fine now. Well, first of all, I'm glad that she is doing well. And you don't need to explain anything to us. We don't deserve an explanation from you. You know, we're just glad that she's doing better. We don't need to know what happened. We don't need to know any of that. We're just glad. Number one, we're glad that she's doing better, and we're glad that you're here. So we appreciate you being back with us. But by all means, that is way more important than coming and talking to some silly fat guy on the internet, man. So we're with you. So, you know, talking about TJ's contract, I don't think we really need to talk about it because until it gets done, because there's so many people that don't want him to get a new contract. So there's so many that, just get rid of him, just trade him. The Steelers aren't trading him. They're not going to do that. So they're not going to trade him. So we'll see. Now, here's a good one. Felicia says, who's going to any games this season, home or away? I don't know if I'm going to any this year. Look, we do a pregame and a postgame. I live here north of Dallas, so it would be tough for me to do that. There is a game that we'll see about the pre and post game because my 50th birthday is coming up this year, and we're going to Vegas. Me and people, our last hurrah, going to Vegas for my birthday. That's in November. So the Steelers play the Colts that day, I believe. Let me look at the schedule. I'm pretty sure that the Steelers play the Colts. So I'm not going to be back to do the post game right away. Let's see. Yep, the Steelers play the Colts. It's at noon. So I'm not going to be back. The post game on that will probably be later, like 6 or so. We'll see. But other than that, that's the only game that I am not going to be doing the post game right after the game. Because if you remember, we do 15 minutes right after the Steelers game. We do a post game right in here live, and we just chop it up, talk about what we see, good, bad, and indifferent. So, but other than that, but yeah, there's so many people go to the games. I love it. I'm just not sure I'm going to make it to one this year. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Especially since we got the members that we stream the games. So we stream the games in there. Now, Big Pun, come on, man. Y'all see, Big Pun says, I quit going to Steeler games. I act crazy and security gathers and follows me around. I don't need that stress. I mean, first of all, Big Pun, if you don't act crazy and have the security guards following you around, are you even doing it right? I'll just say that. If we go to a Steeler game, first of all, we all know that we're all crazy alcoholics in here anyway. If we go to a Steelers game and we don't get rowdy where the security has to follow us around, I'll just put it out there. We ain't doing it right. We're not doing it right. Period. End of story. So there's that. There is that. So I don't think you should make that a deterrent, Big Pun, on why you won't go to the Steelers game, man. Now, don't break the law. I'm never going to be an advocate for breaking the law. Don't do that. But other than that, if they got to follow you around a little bit, it is what it is. Hey, I'm a Steeler fan. It is what it is. I've drank too much. Oh, sue me. So, yes, Torsia. Exactly. The guards know Big Pun is on that Thunderbird. You know, they know. They're going to see you with a Steelers Almighty shirt on and go, oh, that guy's on Thunderbird. Let him be. Let him be. You know, the Thunderbird takes 12 hours to wear off. Just let him be. Let him be. They'll get it. They'll get it. You know, that's the thing about us Steeler fans. We're crazy. They get it. But no, man, I don't know if I'll go to a game this year or not. And to be quite honest with you, first of all, I like going to cold football games. Like, I don't like going when it's 85, 90 degrees out. I don't like going to that. I like going to colder weather football games. Now, I'm not going to go when it's below freezing. I'm not going to do that. I'm too old. My blood is thinned out too much. And all that good stuff. So I'm not going to go when it's below freezing. But you give me I don't know, a game in the 40s, even in the 30s, as long as it's even at 30 degrees, I'd be good. But when it gets down in the teens, I'm not doing that. But you give me a game in the 40s, the 30s, maybe even the upper 20s, 28 and above. That's the games that I like to go to. Bundle up, put my Thunderbird, mix that with a little hot chocolate. Ooh, boy, Lord. Yeah, I wouldn't put Thunderbird in there. I had to put my E&J in my hot chocolate. Yeah. Sneak that into the arena. You know how that works. You get that in and just go to work. Go to work. So that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. That's my idea of fun. Going to a football game. I like cold weather games. The hot games, I'm just like, man, there's no relief. I mean, I've been to a game before where they literally busted the fire hydrant, and I looked like a kid walking under the fire hydrant. I got so hot. I'm like, this is not fun for me. This is not fun for me. Cold weather game, being drunk, that's fun. You know? Yes, Kevin. Cold games, that's different. Absolutely. That's absolutely. So, Carl Hessenplug says, I know it's early, but I'm hearing good things about Roman Wilson. The only caution, look, I said this about Broderick. Look good. Let's see him in pads. I'm going to say the same thing about Roman Wilson. Awful first year. Could not have been worse other than getting hurt and not being able to play anymore. That's about as bad of a rookie season that you could think of for a third-round pick is what Roman Wilson had. But he looks good now. So let's put last year behind us, and let's talk about what it could look like moving forward with Roman Wilson. That's what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm talking about. You know. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But yeah, I'm excited about that, man. I'm excited about that. Is he going to be wide receiver too? I wouldn't trust that. There's room to go get somebody. There's room to go get somebody, before you do that. So Kenneth Jones says he went to a game when he lived in Buffalo, left third quarter due to a blizzard. Never again. Yeah, man, I'm out on a blizzard. I'm out on that. Like I said, I'm too old. My blood is thinned out. I've been living in Texas too long. I like cold weather games, but I'm out on a blizzard, man. No, no. You know, no. I can't do that. I can't do that. That's too much. I'm a fanatic, just like you guys are a fanatic. I'm the same way, but I got limits. I got limits, you know. But y'all see those people out there that are walking around with no shirt on. Now, don't get me wrong. You get me on a beach, I'm going to have no shirt on. That's just me. I don't care. I'm walking around with no shirt on. Bottom line, I don't care. 340 pounds, you know, I'm walking around with no shirt on. I'm embarrassing my wife, you know. And the only reason I'm embarrassing my wife is because I usually wear a shirt that's just unbuttoned, and the shirt that I'm wearing is a crazy shirt. Like I told y'all I bought a pineapple shirt, didn't I? Did I tell y'all about pineapple shirts for vacation this year? I don't know if I told y'all or not. Yeah. I got pineapple shirts this year. Got an upside down pineapple one too. I know y'all know there's a few of y'all in here that know exactly what that means too. Well, trust me, I'm not into that. And my wife is furious. Now, that's why how you know it's love. I buy the shirt. She's mad, but she's not going to keep me from wearing it. She'll be mad when I'm wearing it. She's going to give me the side eye when I'm wearing it. But she's not going to keep me from wearing it. You know, that's the thing. That's the thing, man. No, big pun. No. I mean, that's what it means, but that's not what I mean. I don't get down like that. I don't get down like that. No. My wild and crazy days where I was in college, okay, I'm past that. At damn near 50, I'm past that. So, but somebody said aloha in here. My man Zay Curry. Let me look before we wrap this up, man. Let me just tell you all a little bit about this. If you all bear with me for just 1 second, if you can do that, is I always say aloha after every episode. That's kind of, I don't know if you want to say it's a trademark, but I always say aloha, to you guys. Aloha. Well, I do that because of my brother. My brother he was an announcer for pro wrestling, like regional pro wrestling. Like my brother would have been great at this. And me and him, we could have had a channel. And he was a diehard, I know, he was a diehard Raider fan. Okay. Let him rest in peace. Okay. It is what it is. He was a Raiders fan, a diehard Raiders fan. So clearly me and him on Sundays did not get along. But he died in 2013. And it took me a long time to get past. I'm still not past it. But that's the thing. Me and him, this would have been great. He was much better. I don't know if you even think that I'm any good at this, but he was much better than me. And so the way that I can kind of keep him going, let him know that I'm thinking about him with every single show that I do, that's what I do. As I say aloha, because that was his thing. He had a Facebook page when Facebook was real hot. It was called The Nation. He had people following him from all over the place, and he would just say stupid stuff every single day. So in case any of y'all were wondering, and maybe you didn't, but that's the reason that I do it. I just keep my brother alive with me with every show. So that's the reason I do that. Yeah, he was a oh my God. And he was an unbearable Raiders fan. Y'all know the type, the ones that just lie to try to get under your skin. That's what Robert was. He just would just lie about stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Just to get a rise out of me. Of course, I fell for it every time. But he was the unbearable Raider fan. And even when the Raiders, which for a lot of years after, they had their heyday, they were just garbage. Just garbage. Didn't matter. They're better than the Steelers. Look at what the Steelers. I'm like, what are you talking about? We just won the damn Super Bowl. Oh my God. Just unbearable. Unbearable. So it is what it is, man. But just in case you all are wondering, like, why does this dude that's from Indiana that lives in Texas, why is he always saying aloha? That's why. That's why, man. So for my brother. Marty Marty Ghost. It's been a minute, Big B. If he was better than you, the guy was an absolute legend. Rest in peace to him. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, he was better than me at this. He was better than me. The thing about him is the quick wit. I don't know if any of y'all think that I have. His was, like you all say something crazy in the chat, he would have seen it and he would have lit you up for 20 minutes. For 20 minutes. So for me, I try not to do that. Yeah, he's quick-witted. So, No, Craig Lawson. No, my brother was not a Dallas fan. He was not that. He was a Raider fan. Ain't that a close second, though? I'm just saying, ain't being a Raiders fan a close second to being a Cowboys fan? Other than most Raider fans aren't real. They're realistic. They understand. They'll come out and root like crazy, but they understand their team is garbage. Like Cowboys fans don't know that. They don't know that they suck. They don't understand that they suck. They don't get it. So they don't get that at all. They don't get it. And to me, that's why I love living here. If you all go, I used to be on TikTok all the time on just Big B Sports Talk. And I used to talk about it. Like I live 10 minutes from the Stars, which is where the Cowboys complex is. When they lost, I would literally go over to the Star and take a video from there just making fun of them. And there would be people, they'd be so mad. And I'm like, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Hey, good morning, Brenda. How you doing? So I think Cowboy fans are funny. Some of my best friends are Cowboy fans. And I laugh at it. And they're the unrealistic Cowboy fans, which makes it fun for me. It makes it fun for me. I don't mind. People ask, how can you be a Steeler fan living? Y'all know Steeler fans, living here in Dallas. Y'all know us. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. There's like 4 or 5 Steeler bars in the DFW, man. And if you were to go to one of those on game day, the place is packed with nothing but Steeler fans. Places are packed. So you know us. We're everywhere, man. We're everywhere. So I don't feel bad at all living here. I think it's great. First of all, it's a great place to live. I mean, you can talk about Dallas all you want, but it is a good place to live. But other than that, I love it. So I love it. But yeah, my brother was a Raider fan. He was an unbearable Raider fan, though. I love him. God rest his soul, but he was an unbearable Raider fan. Gee, many Christmas. Oh, just brutal. Just brutal. Brutal. So, but it is what it is, man. That's all I got for you all today. I apologize the last 10 minutes getting all sentimental. That wasn't what I intended to. But that's kind of where it took us today. So remember tomorrow, podcast, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Premiere will be coming out. Make sure you guys show up for that. We'll have, again, our 4 topics that we're talking about. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to kind of wrapping up what OTAs look like. Again, it's early. Here's one last little tidbit. I know I talked about OTAs and it being important. Here's the thing. What if OTAs, like guys that didn't show up this week, if they show up next week, is it still okay? So, super chat from our man Alonzo Dunn. We appreciate you, brother. We know you support the channel. Thank you. He says, I am not lonely by any means, but I love the sincerity of my Steeler almighty family at Big Pun, CID, Torsha, Felicia, Mark Malone, and all. I have to pay the man. Well, man, we appreciate you for supporting us the way that you do, Alonzo Dunn. That's number one. We appreciate that. And everybody in here, look, we've become a family. We've built this thing, and we're just getting started, though. Steelers almighty family, we're just getting started. We started this April 4th of 2024. We're just getting started. We're just getting started. So, again, this is a channel for fans by a fan. I am not a reporter. I am not trying to be a reporter. We don't break news like we're there and all that stuff. We just talk real football. We're going to agree. We're going to disagree. It is what it is. So we appreciate you all. Thank you guys for your support. Remember, memberships are available, but just keep this in mind. They're going to be changing. They're going to be changing for your benefit. and you may have to re-up when that happens because YouTube has a thing. If you change anything on memberships, it kicks everybody out and they have to sign up again. But we'll let you know when that happens. We will 100% let you know when that happens. So we appreciate everybody being in here. Thank you guys as always. And remember, tomorrow we'll have the podcast up. It'd be 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Look to see you guys there. Aloha.